welcome to Home Farm. Today I'm going to be showing you how we dressed our Christmas trees in our Victorian farmhouse. We've got a silver and white one and a gold and copper one. So we're here in our main living area, and right behind where the camera is, Mars is filming, is our main fireplace, which is why the sofas are positioned in such a way we like to sit around and face the fire. And then on the left hand side is the doorway, and I position the Christmas tree every year in this corner because you can see it all the way through the house. So when you're walking through the kitchen, it's right at the very end, and then you walk into the living room and it's the very first thing that you see. So positioning your Christmas tree is something that is kind of important when you're thinking about being able to enjoy it as much as possible. Last year I went predominantly for silver, and this year I've really tried to break it up and add a lot more white. I was inspired by pretty much two things. One was the Nordic style Christmas, which has lots and lots of clean whites in it. And the other thing was our paper whites, which is a beautiful flower that we've planted. It's an indoor bulb, and you can plant it around winter time and have it flowering for Christmas. And it is a gorgeous, highly fragrant, scented flower, and it's a beautiful, clean, bright white. Also, to embrace my Scottish roots, every Christmas I do like to just inject a little bit of tartan here or there. And this year I've gone for like a real bluey tartan, so it's kind of a Campbell tartan, a Campbell and Black Watch I would say. And this one is a Lindsay tartan, and I just sprinkle it around. It's more of a kind of accent colour to break it up. So we've got a little bit of tartan ribbon here, we've got some tartan ribbon on the fireplace, and it just works beautifully with a nice tartan blanket thrown over the sofa. I've been collecting our Christmas decorations for 20 years or more, and my stepmother started a very beautiful family tradition that when all the kids were really little, she would gift wrap the presents for us, and on one of the presents we would get a Christmas bauble or a Christmas decoration of some description tied onto the present so that we could remove that. And she wanted each child to be able to start their own Christmas decoration collection, so that when they finally left home in their teens or 20s, they had something to start their home with and be able to decorate in their home on their first Christmas away from home. So I thought that that was such a special thing to do, and it really inspired me every year to collect Christmas decorations, and we keep all of our decorations. I would never dream of getting rid of anything in my decoration collection. So every year everything gets packed up and organized into colors and into texture. So for example, if it's fragile and glass, I've got a glass box, and if I've got something that's more robust like fabrics, we've got some wooden decorations, those can all get put into the same box as well. So this year I don't have any, well actually I have new picks, but I don't have any new decorations. So up here we've gone for a ribbon topper. I've only done that 1 year before, and I've never done it on this tree. This tree has always had a star on the top, but the branches and bristles are not that strong. So I've always really struggled with the star kind of falling forward. So this year I thought, actually, let's go for a ribbon topper because it's a lot lighter. You get a lot of volume. You're able to fill the top of the tree really nicely and not have that weight on it. So we've gone for this really nice ribbon topper, which I just made with two different types of ribbon. And I think when you're doing the ribbon topper, the trick is to just go with two completely different textures. So you can see that we've gone for a nice smooth satin one, and then I've gone for quite a grainy textured champagne colour. Then behind the bow, I simply took some of the leftover picks that I had and just put them in there, almost like you're doing when you're doing flower arranging. You just kind of pop them in and see where the right space is, and then just wire them to the centre branch. And they stayed up quite straight and quite well. So for the first time this year, I have tried to put the ribbon around the Christmas tree. I've never tried that before. And so at the time I was only able to get my hands on 6 centimeters or 60 mm wide ribbon. And I would say that if you can get your hands, if you're going to go for this look and do something similar, I would say that 7 centimeters or 70 mil, or if you can get 100 mil, which is 10 centimeters, that probably would be a better width for your ribbon. And the other thing that I would say is that I went for quite an opaque, thick ribbon. You can't really see anything through the ribbon, and I think that next year I will probably try and get more of a transparent or sheer ribbon, because what you find is the thicker and denser your ribbon, of course the more light it blocks out, so it tends to block out your Christmas lights. So I think next year I'm going to go for something a little bit more transparent. I can use these ribbons in different ways. I could even untie this ribbon and use this ribbon as the topper, and then try and get a more sheer ribbon here so that we get more of the lights coming through from the Christmas tree. The other thing I have to keep in mind is that we have 2 pussy cats that live with us, and they're basically like our children. We love them to pieces, and so I have to think about the fact that they will be tempted to go for the decorations. They're very well behaved. They don't try and scale up the tree, thank goodness, and they don't try and dive into the tree, but they do go for any loose hanging ornaments. So I always make sure that at the bottom of my trees I keep either metal, wood or fabric type decorations that are a bit more robust, that if one of the cats get hold of it, I'm not too sad if it does get taken away and chewed on, and then I can put it back on the tree. This is Olive's favourite one at the moment for this year. It kind of actually does look like a bit of a bird's nest. It's quite rustic. It is just kind of bits of branches and wood put into a ball. It's quite cute, so I don't blame her for going for it. But when she takes this off and chews on it for a little bit and brings it back, it really doesn't upset me too much, and I just pop it back on the tree. So it is something to think about if you've got pets or kids in the household. Think about what you're going to be putting that is going to be easy for them to reach, and that is not going to be, for example, glass that's going to be breakable or dangerous to them. So with the cats in mind, I actually went not just for the bottom safe decorations, I actually went for pretty much the whole tree. And I kept all my glass special ornaments off the tree, and I actually put them into a long vase, and they're all put in there nicely, and they're in the kitchen so that we can enjoy them still, but they're protected and they can't get damaged. So everything that you can see on the tree this year is either a fabric or a metal or a wood. There really isn't too much here that can get really damaged. So the front view of the tree really is this angle. That's what we can see all the way down the house. But I do have to kind of decorate all the way around, because as you can see, if I was walking up to the buffet, or if you had guests or visitors, we've also got a window here so we can see the tree from this angle as well. So I do have kind of to decorate the whole tree all around. So this year I didn't buy any new decorations, but I did buy some picks. I bought some new picks, and I invested in a number of different types of picks, color-wise and style. And I think that what's really nice about a pick, this is basically a pick. It's a really nice way to fill a space in a Christmas tree, or any other Christmas decorations you may have. It's normally like a flower or some kind of foliage, and then it's normally on a stem like this. They can come quite long, and so you can choose to either bend it or cut it, but obviously once you cut it, then it's a permanent size. So I really like picks because each year you can use them in different things. So this year I could use these on this tree. Next year I might choose to use these in a table arrangement, or on a table centerpiece, or in a garland, or in a wreath. So I think the picks are really handy because they've got so many different applications and different ways that you can use them. So just to show you some of my favorite decorations this year on the tree. Another thing I did this year was, because I was using so much ribbon for the Christmas tree and the decorations, I was finding that towards the end of these little projects I was having quite a lot of offcuts of ribbon. So instead of just throwing away and discarding all those offcuts, I decided that I would just leave them to one side, and at the end I would figure out how to use them, because I really want to minimize wastage, A, for environmental reasons, and B, because you are paying and spending money on those, and you want to utilize everything as much as you possibly can. I had these little offcuts of ribbon. I picked them up and I simply started looping them. I didn't tie them into bows or make any knots or anything. I simply just took the ribbon, it was flat, I just looped it, looped another one, and just see how many loops I could get out of one piece of ribbon. And then, because these are all wired pieces of ribbon, you're able to just adjust them and puff them out like this. And then I tied on a little bit of ribbon there, I don't know if you can see, a little bit of padded wire, and then twisted it at the back. And then I've got what you want to call a pick or a filler or another decoration, and you can just go in anywhere that you've got another gap and just tie it onto the end of the branch, and it's utilizing everything that you purchased, minimizing wastage, and it looks really pretty. So I hope that you've enjoyed looking at the white and silver Christmas tree. It's got that kind of winter wonderland feel, and it works so beautifully with the paper whites this year. I'm really pleased with the overall look. And now we'll go check out the gold and copper one in our garden room. So this is our garden room, and this year I've gone for gold and like a copper brownie kind of color. Last year it was gold and red, but I thought I wanted to kind of just tone it down a bit this year with the more neutral kind of brownish earth tone colors. I've still kept my pot of tartan on the lanterns because that's just family tradition for us to have a little bit of tartan here, and we've gone for a really nice big gold topper with a bit of Hessian gold in the bow as well, and then these lovely picks in a kind of champagne silvery gold color. This tree I did not do any ribbon around it. I only did the ribbon on the bow and the topper, and then I just used all the picks. These are all the picks I just put in. This is also a pick as well, just to fluff the tree up and give it a bit of thickness and fullness, and again spread that kind of different shades of gold throughout the tree. So again, on this Christmas tree I've tried to avoid breakables and glass for the cats. So some of my favorite decorations on this tree are these are some beautiful fabric ones that we got many years ago that have got some beautiful beadwork on them. And then I've got this lovely brown satin one which has got these gorgeous sequins on, and again it's just so beautiful and thick and squidgy, and you want to squeeze it, give it a squeeze. And then this one is definitely one of our very favorites because this is from one of our first Christmases together. It was me and Mars, so probably almost about 20 years old, and I think that is such a gorgeous one, little wooden green star. We've only got a couple of those, so they're extra special. Both of our Christmas trees are about 15 plus years old, so they're not pre-lit, so I do have a bit of a struggle every year because I've got to loop the cables and the lighting around them and then try and hide that and not really see that or make that the focal point too much, having all those wires around. And you can see them, I can't hide them completely, but you know, you're obviously trying to make the effort to try and disguise it and make it look like a uniform Christmas tree in one unit rather than just having loads of cables everywhere. So this year I haven't used any tinsel or anything inside between the levels of the branches as fillers, apart from the picks. I've decided this year that actually I needed a little bit more fillers inside the tree. When you stand back from the tree, I was able to see I was getting really big gaps and holes. So here's a good example. This one is on the branch, and this little copper one, I'm not sure if you can see here, is on the same branch, but it's quite a fair way back into the center of the tree. And so from a distance, it doesn't look like the branch has two baubles on. It looks like it's hanging off a different branch, but it has helped me just fill that gap. So then I always like to finish off and dress the base of the tree. To me, the tree doesn't look finished if I just walk away and leave those metal feet exposed. I want to cover that up because it can be quite distracting. So typically each year I'll just use whatever scrap of fabric I have. I do have a little cupboard full of scraps of fabric, everything from offcuts from projects, things that people have given me as scraps, things that I've seen in vintage or thrift stores that I quite like the look of, and I'll just go into that cupboard and I'll just see what I've got and pull something out. You can get a basket, they're quite popular nowadays, to stand the tree in, and that's a really clever and quick way of hiding. It's also really good for hiding your cables as well as the base of the tree, and is really convenient. But for me, I just put this fabric in. This year it's like a dark green, forest green satin that I've got, and I've just covered up the base of the tree, and then I've just got some logs from our wood store, just put those in for a bit of texture, but it's just a really good way of covering up the tree and finishing it off and making it look neat and tidy so that we can avoid seeing any cables or metal feet. So I hope you found this video interesting and you've really found some creative inspiration and it's given you some ideas of how to use your decorations in different ways. I think I'll have some videos coming up on my top tips for how to decorate a Christmas tree, how to do a garland as well. We've done top 10 tips on garlands, and we'll probably do another walkthrough of the entire farmhouse to show you what all of the different areas look like and how festive and special it is at this time of year. We're really hoping to get some snow, but I don't think it's going to be for a couple of weeks, and then that's really when the whole place really takes on a whole different winter wonderland feel. So thanks so much for watching, and I really hope that we'll see you on our next video. Please subscribe and ring the bell so that you can see what else we've got coming up, and happy holidays. Hope you all have a wonderfully festive time.